Management woes at distance learning institution Unisa continue to mount. The latest report from independent assessor Prof Themba Mosia details a range of problems around the state of governance, performance and management, financial management grades to the Vice-Chancellor's residence, for example. And there are also claims of intimidation, there's claims of bullying, and there's quite a lot that is happening at that particular institution, with some growing calls as well for it to be placed under administration. Now, urgent action is being called on from all the sides right now. You think about, some who are saying the Higher Education Minister, Nzimande, must act quickly, but also he is waiting for his own answers in what exactly is going on there. Let's now talk to Professor Barney Pityana, who's the former VC at the institution. Thank you so much, Prof, for your time this evening. I mean, the report details a litany of claims of maladministration, poor leadership and mismanagement against the council as well. What was your reaction when you saw all of this unfold?
It's a very sad situation, Bongi, where it's sad for those of us who've been associated with this university for virtually all my higher education career. Unisa is too big to fail. It is actually too important for ordinary South Africans to be unable to receive and benefit from Unisa's services. And we saw this coming over some time. And really the report by Professor Mosia cannot be disputed. It is well put together, very highly researched, very faithful to the sources that he has accessed, and it paints a bleak picture of this university.
And it's now, pardon me, Prof, for coming in there. It's not even just about, the Vice-Chancellor. Fingers also pointing at the council coming under scrutiny as well.
The big thing, in my view, is the Vice-Chancellor, yes, she's been behaving about the funds and the resources of the university in a very irregular fashion, and really that's a serious thing for a chief executive of an institution like this. But the council has really been where the major failure has been. Professor Makanya tells us that in 2015, there was a takeover of council by a whole group of people. He doesn't say who these people were. So my conclusion is that the Unisa has been captured at the level of council, and out of that level of council capture, the entire institution has been hollowed out. And that is exactly what has happened.
And in your view then, what does accountability begin to look like, particularly where council is concerned? Because you've also written to Council Chairperson James Mabua to try and get answers and to be able to see how things look like there. Have you gotten a response, and what does, for you, accountability look like?
I did get a response at the time. It was a very defensive response, and that really left me exasperated. I wrote to the Vice-Chancellor of the university at the time, and she said she would be undertaking investigations. I never heard any more. The council really is up to the Minister of Higher Education to really come to understand that that council no longer serves any fiduciary function to the students and others who have an interest in the university and the people of South Africa in general. And so the first thing to do is to dismiss the council and set up an administrator. That's what the minister must do.
And do they look like they're taking these, this report and the claims that have been surrounding this particular institution for years now seriously, or are they simply burying their heads in the sand?
There are two things to know. One, the Council of Unisa has been meeting this last week, pretty much consistently. They're discussing the same issue. They cannot agree. There are many voices among them who believes that the report must be challenged, who will resist any action by the minister. There are others among them who say this is too serious for us to play fiddle with. And 2 of them have now resigned. And it is thought that there may be another 2 or 3 resigning. So what you're going to find is a council of Unisa dissembling, falling apart as a result of inaction on the part of the minister.
And for those who want to challenge it, what do you hear? What are they basing this on?
Well, they believe it can be reviewed. They believe that it is not accurate. But anybody who reads that report, you would know that you cannot review a report like that. It is so factual, so deeply researched, and it is so careful about the judgments that it makes, that quite honestly, Professor Lenka Bula can hardly challenge that report, and it paints a very poor picture of the management and leadership of the institution.
And I mean, I'm sure then, even, when you read it and looking at what then is also contained there, one could be safe to assume that her future at that university may be kind of shaky?
Well, it is the responsibility of the council, which it has not done. A long time ago, the council should have reined in the vice-chancellor. They should have taken disciplinary action, and they haven't. Now, this council is not going to take any action against the vice-chancellor, but the administrator, who hopefully will be appointed, some of us believe, will have to take disciplinary action against the vice-chancellor. The minister can't take disciplinary action against the vice-chancellor because the minister is not the employer of the vice-chancellor.
Prof, what do all of these negative reports say about the credibility of this institution?
It's a solid institution, Unisa, 150 years old. It's got a very healthy reserves, but it has been badly managed, and that is the sum total of it all. And there is a future for this institution if action is taken now to really try to reverse the damage that has been done to its reputation, to its history. We're celebrating 150 years this year, and to its history, to everything that Unisa stands for. Something just has to be done.
Do you think it'll be done soon enough?
I believe so. I can't believe that the minister will not act on it. The minister, I understand, has sought a meeting with council. Some members of council don't want to meet the minister. They've more or less are suggesting that they want to challenge the minister. But then, I don't understand how they are going to challenge the minister, because the minister can, in fact, dissolve the council.
Prof, it's really worrying developments of what is going on there. And we've reached out to Unisa, but they say they're not doing interviews at the stage. So one really waits to see what becomes their response then and their way forward as to, do they then, as you say, they are now split. Do they challenge it? Do they not? So let's see what happens here. Prof, do appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you very much. It's a very, very sad. It's very sad.
It's very, very sad indeed. That was Professor Barney Pityana, the former Vice-Chancellor at the University of South Africa, 150 years old. This institution is, and really what is happening there now, especially when you read that report, quite worrying.